Hello and welcome to the grand finals of the Medieval Wars. This is game number 1 between TyRanT and RVK, and this series has been very much anticipated from the start of the tournament, really, as pretty much everybody was set that these two teams would be in the grand finals, and that is indeed the case, both of them going through to the grand finals with very few losses indeed, actually. They were streamed on Sunday, the Sunday just gone, and I did post a video not long ago saying that I am been moving house, all settled in now, and a lot of you said on that video that you wanted me to commentate these games even though they'd already been casted at the weekend, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So yes, these games have already been played and they are going to be cast from replays, but it's worth noting that there may be spoilers in the comments below because obviously people know the result already. So if you don't want to spoil the result for yourself, then I would suggest not scrolling down to the comments and having a look, as you could end up being spoiled, and I don't really want that to happen for anyone who wants to keep the results to themselves until they find out via watching the casted videos. So, anyway, it's TyRanT versus RVK, and I think we're going to have some pretty damn good games. I think both of these teams should be fairly even, though going into this, TyRanT are likely to be the favourites. So down to the very south of the map, in blue, we've got TyRanT Cab. He's playing as Chinese, and he is going to be right down here at the very bottom of the map, and he's on the flank position. His pocket player to his right, Jordan23 in grey, he's playing as Mongols, and for some reason he's not showing up as black on the minimap. I'm not sure why that is. I will try and find out why after I've recorded this video. So that's Jordan23 as Mongols in pocket, and also the other pocket player on the far east of the map, we do have the Viper playing as Huns, and he is in yellow. Gonna keep an eye on what the Viper's up to a little bit later on. And of course, the other person for TyRanT, one and only Doubt in orange, playing as Mayans up to the northeast of the map. Now, surprisingly, Doubt playing as Mayans here and not the Viper playing as Mayans. I'm not sure if this game had any restarts before it began, but I would have almost assumed that Viper would have took Mayans straight off, but even so, he's going to be in the pocket with the Mayans, so I think we could probably expect to see, sorry, the Huns even, probably expect to see fast castles from both pocket players as standard. But Mayans on the flank, going to be able to do a good flush and rush, which is exactly what Doubt's doing, putting a barracks down right now. But on the other team, one of the community's favourites, I would say, we've got FH playing in teal, right on their flank, and they've just taken out Doubt's Eagle Warrior. That was pretty nice, both of them. VH and Chris getting in there, taking it out, Doubt's Eagle, and that's obviously going to be quite nice for VH if Doubt's going to be sending a Drush over, and VH playing as Huns, expecting a Drush as well, so he is going to be actually creating some militia of his own. Obviously going to have an advantage now that Doubt has lost his Eagle Warrior. So VH getting off to a reasonably good start there, managing to take that out. Doesn't look like he lost any villagers or anything like that, so all good for him. The other pocket player for RVK, just trying to make sure I can see right, we've got Chris in green, aka in this game Orcus. He's playing as Chinese in the pocket. The other pocket player, RVK Dogao, one of the other Brazilian giants in a sense. He's playing in red as Mongols in pocket. And finally, on the other flank, in purple, we have got Stark, RVK Stark, playing as Mines as well. Now, I don't think there's actually that many 4v4s in this tournament. I believe the first game, Arabia 4v4, has to be played as a 4v4. But after this, it will go to home maps, and I'm not sure if the players, well, the teams even, will choose to play a 3v3 over 4v4. I think they do get the choice of either. If I'm correct, I believe that they choose to play 3v3s, so there's not going to be that many 4v4s. Maybe one or two more later on, I'm not 100%. Anyway, we have got a bit of action down in the south. Stark tried a Drush, of course, playing as Mayans. Not uncommon to see Mayans Drush. And we've got the scout from Jordan and the scout from Cab here just to try and defend. It doesn't actually look like Stark's going to be able to do too much damage here. He's trying to batter down that palisade, but Cab is straight up to the feudal age. He's going to put a stable down on the left side. Of course, he's playing as Chinese, and he will make a couple of scouts out of there to help repel this little attack here. Jordan, of course, going to be able to communicate with Cab there and tell him exactly where these guys are going. They could decide to head straight over to Jordan 23's base. He's actually putting down a barracks. Now, he's in the pocket position, so Jordan could be putting this down just so that he can make a, I don't know, maybe an archery range or a stable afterwards. Probably a stable, or maybe an archery range if he's going to go for crossbows. An archery range and a blacksmith. So he won't build a market, but he will have those military buildings there if he needs to get a couple of units out to defend himself from any incoming attacks. Of course, with being in the pocket position, you're much less likely to be faced with those attacks as you would be on the flank, so that's why the flanks will tend to do a feudal rush and the pockets aim for a fast castle. So it's a stable going down, and I actually thought he'd go for an archery range, but he can go with the stable and make knights once he gets up to the castle age, which does look like his plan at this stage. Viper, as I said, also in pocket, going again with a barracks, and he will go with, he's playing Huns, so likely a archery range, as he'll want to make cavalry archer, no doubt. Though he could also do a stable as well, which was also what he's doing, so he might decide to go knights as well. Finally, Doubt on the other side, not really seeing too much action over there. Looks like the militia drush kind of went in the favour of Fiage, as expected, but Fiage making 5 militia is certainly going to have a little impact on his economy if he can't do too much to damage Doubt. I think here, though, playing it very wise, he's trying to put the pressure on at this front area, which is exactly where Doubt's gold is. So it's good for Fiage that he's forced this tower to go up from Doubt. It means that Doubt's going to have to build a mining camp later on to take some stone, and Fiage even upgrading man-at-arms there, he could bring down this tower, because it's going to be a little while before Doubt can get any archers out, so Fiage is going to be in a nice position here, keeping the pressure on, as it were, and trying then, I think, to just keep units coming in here. I wouldn't be surprised really if he was to take down this watchtower, but he is actually walking away. I think that could have been an opportunity for him to take it, but I don't know. He's deciding not to. Maybe he's going to head over to the Viper. Maybe he's going to go around the back, try and hit Doubt on his wood or something like that. 2 archery ranges from Fiage as well. He's looking like he's having a pretty good start, actually. Let's have a look. Yep, he is feudal, of course, and he is making archers right now. There's archers from him, and we could probably expect archers from Doubt as well. Doubt, of course, being a Mayans. And archery ranges down for Fiage already does mean that he is going to be able to go with cavalry archers a little later on. Of course, we've got Fiage on the flank here, and Huns do make such a great rushing civilization. But the other Hun player, the Viper, is in pocket, and he's actually gone down with 2 stables. So it looks likely that the Viper will probably go, as well as we can see, double stables, but he won't build so much economy so quickly. He might decide to just go a little bit more on the military side before building up his extra 2 TCs and try and really push Fiage back on this side, or he could also go for the enemy pocket players. Let's see, Jordan 23 up to castle right now. I believe he's the first one to go up. Indeed he is. And he too has got a stable down. So we can probably expect to see some knights coming out from him right now. 1 queued up. But I imagine he's most likely trying to go for eco at this stage. He can afford 1 TC right now. And he is going to plonk that right down on the front here. Quite an open gold position once again, so this TC going to provide a lot of protection in this area, and he can save this gold. And he's probably now going to just save up for another TC as well, though he's taking enough wood. I was going to say he's not taking much wood, but he's of course split his lumber camps. Cab on the top over at Dogau's base. This is nice, because Dogau of course is going to be trying to fast castle here. We can see he's just about to hit the castle age, but Cab getting in there. Not managing to kill a villager by the looks of things, but certainly slowing Dogau's economy down slightly, forcing him to build these palisades. Stark, on the other hand, very much walled as well, so no real damage coming in there. And Stark making archers by the looks of things from his archery range right there. 2 stables from Dogao as well. Dogao playing as Mongols, I believe. Yeah, two stables from him. Mongols as well. 2 TCs down as well. So looking good there. It looks like, yeah, Viper's going to do exactly the same. 2 TCs, 2 stables, double knights from both. But where will they attack? That's the important thing. Looks like Team RVK at least going to be trying to put the pressure on over at Doubt's base and slow the Mayan player down. I'm trying to work out who else's mine's over here. Mine on the flank for Stark, but Stark's pretty well defended up here. It's Doubt who's going to be under a lot of trouble, or in a lot of trouble, if a lot of army comes in towards the front of his base. He's very open here, and they want to protect the Mayan player. It does make a lot of sense to do that. Now, it's kind of hard to see the minimap at this stage. I'll put a military minimap on so we can see what military is going on here. So we can see VH got a reasonable amount of archers there. +1 is done. And he's certainly outnumbering Doubt. But with the help of the Viper, Viper can defend. And that's kind of what I thought he would do. Send double knights over to this side to help Doubt defend. Doubt, of course, now up to the castle age. And it does mean that he has got the tech advantage over Fiage as well, as he now does have crossbows researched. Fiage, is he up to castle yet? Now, I imagine he's clicked up, but how? Oh wow, he hasn't. Jeez, okay. Fiage still in feudal. It's kind of risky to stay feudal this long. Of course, Doubt already gone up, and he's now producing crossbows. With the help of the Viper's knights as well, they could really push back into Fiage's base here. He's got a little help from Chris, with knights from him. Chris also doing double stables. More stables going up for Jordan as well, so it's going to be double stables from all of the pocket players. And we're going to see a lot of knights coming out onto the map. No one really deciding to go with cavalry archer. Which, I suppose it's good and bad. I think against knights you need a lot more cavalry archers to actually outmass them and end up winning. But in terms of raiding and hitting wood piles and things like that, cavalry archers are a great unit choice for that harassment. Now it looks like Fiage does have the numbers, but he's lacking Bodkin arrow right now, so he is lacking that extra range. So Doubt can come in here quite comfortably, and if he uses micromanagement well, then he will be able to do a lot of damage to Fiage's army right here. So a lot of action going to be happening on this top side right now. Stark, looks like we've had a bit of action down in the south, killing off most of Cab's army by the looks of things. Dogao getting in there with some knights, and we've got crossbows from Stark as well, who is also up to the castle age, it's worth noting. So Cab looks like he's in a little bit of trouble trying to get these TCs up for a bit of defense, but he's got no army, so to speak of. A couple of crossbows up at the north, but really not a lot. He's got to defend against the Knights of Dogao. Thankfully, he has got Jordan to hand. Jordan starting to make some camels, a great defensive unit for defending against night raids. So it looks like Jordan's going to be able to help Cab out enough here. But Cab can lose at least one villager to these crossbows. This is why the ranged units do work so well from the other side of lumber camps. Gonna get the TCs up though, by the looks of things, and should be safe for now. Up at the north, Fiage is still in the feudal age, just about to click up. And it's putting up more towers as well, just to help defend here. Not really many knights from Chris to help. A few more coming over, but they are going to get pretty much cleared up by the crossbows of Doubt here, doing so much damage with the +2 attack. And of course Viper's knights getting involved as well. Back to the military minimap, we'll see who's actually focusing more on eco, for who's focusing more on army. Seems like the pocket players for both teams aren't really going all out in terms of making knights. I was surprised really. I thought we'd probably see a few more knights out, but looks like they're starting to sort of retire to make more eco at the moment, rather than just going all out into knights. We can see the Viper here with only 5. Doesn't look like he's really making many more, but he is adding more stables, so he's took that little time to build up his eco, get the initial amount of knights out, and now he'll probably start queuing up some more once he's built up his eco to a certain point. Handcart just being researched and all of that, so Viper's economy should be able to sustain knights from more stables. You can see him adding them in now, but at the moment lacking the food to really continue production from all of them, hence why he kind of took the gas off slightly and focused on eco. There's only so many knights you can make before your eco starts to fall behind. So kind of very stalematy here. FH finally clicking up to castle. He's just over halfway now. It's going to be a little while before he reaches the castle age. And I think once he does though, he'll have enough crossbows and elite skirmishers there to actually fend this off, which looks like why Doubt and the Viper are starting to force an engagement now, getting in there with the crossbows, trying to kill off what they can. And if I was Fiage and Chris now, I'd fall back just behind this tower and kind of wait for the upgrades to come in before actually attacking. Chris only has +1 defense, as does the Viper. And really not so much raiding coming in on the north side, but on the south, looks like we're going to have a pretty big battle here. Jordan getting in there with his camels and his knights, +1 defense done, +2 attack for Stark, and of course Cab here with his crossbows, +2 as well. Fiage finally up to the castle age, and they're going to try, by looks of things, to trap them in here. And I know they're fighting uphill, but it looks like they should have the numbers. We just need Jordan to engage properly, using his camels to fight the knights to fight the crossbows. Really superb micromanagement there from him, and they should be able to clear this attack up fairly easily. There should be enough there. I can't see how there wouldn't be, and yeah, that is definitely going in TyRanT's favour. And TyRanT now taking the overall score lead by about 150 points. Not a great deal, but that battle there certainly going to allow Cab some breathing room, and he can finally get back on his feet. He's got his 3 TCs up, but this area here was under a bit of pressure. He's been forced to build an extra lumber camp down here, but overall not in too bad shape. Viper now, as you can see, really starting to boost that production of knights. We have a quick look back on him. There we go. I think there was I can't remember. The user patch guys told me that there was a shortcut to skip through the players, but I can't remember what it is. So I'm actually not going to be able to do that. I have to do it how I was doing it before. But anyway, Viper should be able to start making more knights now. He should just have enough eco to support it. It looks like he's struggling slightly though. Hiding in a monastery right now. So he's either going for relics or he's got imperial in mind, but he is a long way from it if he's continuing knights at that rate. And we're going to see a big battle on the front. No elite skirmisher upgrade done for Fiage, and looks like Fiage starting to add in cavalry archers now, which is something that Viper hasn't done, but +2 attack is done. Sorry, defense is done. And now he just needs to coordinate with Cab. I don't know if he's going to try and get in there and pull back. If Cab's going to add in a mangonel or something, I think a mangonel would do big damage here. Doubt just saying, hang on a second, I'm not ready to go in just yet, waiting for Thumbring. And once that is done, it looks like they're going to make an engagement and a push. Could be a pretty big battle over here. And just looking at it, it's kind of hard to say who really has the upper hand on that side. But down at the south, we've got Jordan and Cab trying to make some raids on Stark here. Looks like they're about to go in. Crossbows coming forwards, the knights coming forwards as well. Viper just getting the plus attack on him as well. So let's see, I think if Fiage have upgraded, or if Fiage upgrades to elite skirmisher here, it would be really great, but they're trying to position themselves so well so that Viper's actually attacking the archers rather than the knights head on. And it certainly looks at this stage like TyRanT over here has the numbers advantage, but RVK clinging to that hill, going to get every advantage they can. Very hard to see the numbers at the moment. Cavalry dropping for the Viper, but he is on 28, which is certainly a lot more than Chris has in this battle here. And it does look like if Viper continues sending knights in, which he is doing, that they are going to clear this up very easily indeed. The rest of those crossbows from Fiage just going to get chased down now by Viper's knights, and Doubt going to be able to bring his crossbows in here. The base of this tower, a great place to strike from, and they will be able to hit villagers very easily indeed. Could come around the back, pick villagers off here. There are so many possibilities for them, and not sure what happened there. Apparently it's finished replaying the game, with Stark leaving it on WTF. I believe that this game broke and they restored, so let me just see if I can pull up the restore. Alright, so we're back in. Sorry about that, the game got restored, but thankfully we do have the second part. And this is just the time where we can see the Viper cleaning up the rest of Fiage's men. And you know, that restart couldn't have come at a worse time, really. Fiage's units were all bunched up there, and kind of really unfortunate for him that that restart happened. as he may have been able to actually, well, maybe escape, but judging by the number of knights that the Viper has, his score alone as well, he is in a great position right now. Fiege is very low in score at the moment, which is kind of worrying. Cab fairly low as well, but he is certainly further ahead, and now starting to hit these villages of Stark as well. It looks like RVK are beginning to crumble under the pressure that TyRanT are putting on here. There are just so many units in Fiege's base. There is just no way that he can defend against all of this. Villagers over here too far away from a TC to get back, and Fiege is going to lose so much. He is absolutely outrated at this stage, and the Viper in doubt just going to sit in here, kill as many villagers as they can. They can't all garrison in the TC, so Viper free reign over here. And this is not a good day for Fiege, I'll tell you that much. Certainly going up to Castle Age so late was a big mistake on his behalf, as he really wasn't able to do the damage to doubt to justify it. That was the problem. Fiege's population now dropped down to 59, which isn't bad, but it's certainly not good when you compare that to Doubt's, who has 116, the Viper who's on 125, up to Imperial Age as well. Oh, it's not good for Fiege at this side of the map. Trying to bundle together. Chris has got some knights in here. They have got the upgrade advantage over the Viper's knights, but even so, there are too many crossbows there to realistically fight against. And Fiege just trying to mass up those cavalry archers to do what damage he can. But Viper still in there with a lot of knights, a lot of crossbows as well. And this eventually is going to get cleared up. I'm going to check what's going on over this side. Looks like Dogao having to bring all the forces from the other side of the map right over to Fiege's base to save him. And this is going to open a great window, because if the Viper and Doubt realize, oh hey, Dogao's here, that means that Dogao is not over here, and that is the perfect opportunity for Jordan and Cab to strike. TyRanT then, a good 700 points in the lead now, and that is a massive increase compared to when we last had a look. But at the same time, this could be a little bit of an issue for the Viper and Doubt. They've got to get out of here, and they cannot go in or out the way they came in. There's just too many units chasing them down. We've got knights from Dogao, knights from Chris, and cavalry archers from Fiege. Fiege feeling a big pat on the back from his teammates here, I think, with this amount of knights. Thankfully, though, they don't actually communicate via Skype, so they probably can't hear how annoyed they are over Skype. Viper then going to lose the rest of his knights over here. +2 attack finally done for him, but he is cornered. And those knights are all going to drop. Is he going to be too concerned about that, though? Well, he's just hit the Imperial Age right now, and even without being on the phone, he still managed to get out of there without too much losses. I mean, he did lose a lot of knights, but they did a lot of damage as well, and it was probably more than justified. Looks like the Cavalier upgrade is just being researched. Indeed it is, 25% on that. And Blacksmith Y as well, plate barding armor expected, +4 defense about to be done. Viper going to become a raiding machine, I think, and Cab and Jordan now taking full advantage of Dogao's absence to push forwards over here. Stark putting a castle on the back. Yes, it's on a hill, but it's not in... well, it's in an okay position, I suppose, but even so, Stark losing a lot of units there. And now, obviously, as Mayans, he's going to be wanting to start making some eagles. But he could also go for eagle warriors if he wants to. But judging by the fact he's putting castles up, not building any more barracks right now, I'm assuming he's going to be making plumes. I meant plumed archers, not eagles. I'm assuming, yeah, he's going to be making plumed archers, which is kind of what he's doing. It does make sense, I suppose, against crossbows. Plumed archers do well. They are a very good... not really anti-archer, but they are good against archers. We've also got Dogao's Mangadai coming in here. And Dogao should be up to Imp fairly... oh, he is up to Imp right now. So finally, they're starting to catch up to the Viper in terms of getting up to the Imperial Age. But how much is that lead going to make a difference when you've got this many knights coming in from Chris right here? I don't think all of the Cavalier that the Viper has at the moment would be able to fight this head on. He has got upgrade advantage, but outnumbered massively. Viper forced to run back with his units, create a rally point around here, and try and defend against these knights from Chris. Now, if the worst comes to the worst, Viper is going to lose all of his Cavalier, and be forced away from his economy for a bit. I think he's hoping that he is going to be able to produce enough Cavalier here to actually defend, but he is massively outnumbered, having to bring them all back, and now with the reinforcements coming in, should be able to deal with this. I wouldn't be surprised, and Chris here, making a little bit of a mistake, I think. Ending up losing way more knights than he really would have liked, getting absolutely surrounded there, and that's a lot of dead bodies on the floor for Chris, running away with very few knights indeed, and I think that was kind of a big mistake on his behalf. But he is switching to camels by the looks of things, which is a good choice. Heavy camels from the Chinese are very formidable, and they will be pretty useful against fighting the Cavalier and soon-to-be Paladins from the Viper. Cab once again under a lot of pressure, but he has thankfully got Jordan to help him out. He's starting to make elite skirms, crossbows, and there we go. Jordan coming in from behind. Mangudai are out, but they're against elite Mangudai from Dogao. Dogao, of course, going to be making full use of these to raid with, but at the same time does not want to lose them, as they are just so expensive and they are so valuable. Heavy camel upgrade done for Jordan as well. Interestingly, he's done that, but it's certainly not such a bad choice. If you can mix them in with knights and hussars, they'll be able to tank a bit more arrow fire and actually close the gap between him and the Mangudai, which would be pretty good for him. He's going to be able to do good damage with that. Now I'm just a little bit concerned over here. The Viper has way too many Cavalier for, I think, at this stage for them to really contend against. I think RVK's biggest chance here is to really focus down on Cab and Jordan at the south of the map. But a lot of scams coming out for Cab, and surprisingly, Dogao losing a lot of Mangudai unnecessarily there. Cab looks like he's going to be switching to Chuko Nu fairly soon. He's putting down a lot of castles, and he is starting to produce some. So Chuko Nu plus Mangudai for TyRanT against obviously Plumed Archers and Mangudai for RVK. Now Plumed Archers against Chuko Nu, they're not as good as if they were just against Crossbow or Arbalest. Obviously Chuko Nu firing so many arrows, doing so much pure raw damage. Certainly going to be a good unit to use. Probably better than anything else the Chinese can throw out, aside from skirmishers at this stage. So a mix of skirmishers and Chuko Nu, good choice. Raids from Dogao coming in though, and they are affecting his economy slightly, Cab's economy that is, but not really so much that he's got to pull all of his units back. The TCs should be able to deal with that. What is a problem though is up here, the Viper, a good 1,000 score ahead of his teammates, clearing up Feage's base over here, leaving Paladins behind to just batter down the TC basically. And Feage's base, just nothing left of it. Doubt coming in with Capture Ram. Elite Plumed Archer done for Doubt, all the upgrades on there as well. And Feage, he really has very little left of his base to speak of. He's got no way to really run. He is cornered. And now, of course, this is going to open up a very nice window for these guys to walk straight into Chris's base, which is certainly not what Chris wants to have to deal with. This many Paladins, I don't think he wants that. So once again, Dogao here to try and save the day, which does mean, again, leaving Stark pretty much undefended. Again, it's 2v1 down in the south. Treb's out for Cab, and pressure looks like it's going to be piled onto Stark once they realise once again that Dogao is up in the north. Now, they're really going to try and focus down the Viper here. He's just really getting up to that massive number of Paladins that it just becomes unstoppable after a while. Backed up with Plumed Archers as well. It is an incredibly powerful combination. Hanging into this hill, Plumed Archers going to be making a bit of damage to these Mangudai. And of course, the Mangudai a lot more expensive as well. So losing as many Plumed Archers as Mangudai doesn't matter. You're still going to make a profit in terms of how much resources you've lost, compared to how much your opponent has lost. Viper now coming in with the Paladins, and there's no heavy camel from Chris, and that is a big issue right now. Knights and camels not going to be able to fight it, and I'm not sure if Chris, yeah, he's got to be imp, but what is he doing at his stables? Cavalier, but no heavy camel, and I think that's a big mistake from him. Obviously, Chinese, maybe not such a big mistake. I mean, he has got a lot of knights to upgrade, but I think when he saw how many Paladins and Cavalier that the Viper was making, the camels would be great. I suppose a mix of Cavalier and Camels would be great against, well, with the Mangudai against the Plumes, but I think he does need to add more Camels if he's going to fight the Viper head on. And even so, Doubt Just so many plumed archers on this hill. They cannot deal with that. Doubt losing hardly anything. And Dogao just dropping so many men down there. The Mangudai just falling. Stark starting to push in. Where's Jordan's army gone, though? I don't see them. It looks like he was over at the left, but once again, Stark. Mass amounts of plumed archers here. Enough to deal with the skirms from Cab, but where's Jordan's army gone? That's what I'm interested about. Where is it? It seems to have just disappeared, and I know it can't have done, but it's hard to see on this map. That's the problem. Jordan, where is your army? It really does actually look like it's disappeared. I guess raiding a little bit. Stark doesn't have much of a base, so to speak of. And Jordan doesn't seem to have all that much left, but they're defending here just fine for now. I don't know how long for, though, as obviously they have got the hill advantage, what RVK have, and they are bringing in rams now as well. So there's a lot of units being piled in here, but I'm just worried about this side. It's just so open. It is so open, and FH just has absolutely nothing left. It's kind of worrying that FH has so little at this stage. It's basically 4v3. There's no other way to put it, and it's going to be a tough one. I think Jordan trying to make more Mangudai. Doubt has been paying him stone in tribute, so more castles probably to go up. They are starting on trade as well. Lots and lots of markets down here. And RVK doesn't look like they have any trade up really at the moment at all. Dogao now saying GG. Looks like RVK are going to GG the first game, which does mean it goes to TyRanT. And that's it, 1-0. And I believe this is a best of 9. So it should be first of... No, it's not a best of 9. I think it's a best of 11. I can't quite remember. I think it's best of 11. Either way, it's first to 6. And at the moment, it is, after this game, 1-0 to TyRanT. And it really didn't look like they were up against a lot of pressure there, or a lot of issues at all. Other than Cab in the early game, under the attack from Stark, kind of crumbling a bit. But with Jordan coming to his aid, they managed to defend. I don't know how long they would have defended this area for. It certainly looks like RVK would have had a slight advantage on this hill. But on the other side of the map, Doubt and the Viper absolutely tearing down FH's base. Really not a lot he could do with being in the feudal age for so long. And obviously then opening such a big gap into Chris's sort of underbelly, into his economy. And Chris just obviously didn't have enough there to do much. I think he would have been in a bad position either way without the help of VH. But I do think that adding camels perhaps would have helped him out against the Viper's paladins a little more. And if not, then upgrading sooner. But it's difficult in those kind of situations. So anyway, 1-0 to TyRanT. Stay tuned because Game 2 will be coming up tomorrow, I imagine. But yeah, thanks for watching. As usual, I've been Zach, and I will see you next time.